Am I the butthole for refusing to raise my wife's affair baby? My name is David, and I'm a 33-year-old father to a wonderful 5-year-old girl named Chloe. My wife, Rachel, and I have been married for 8 years, and until a few months ago, I believed we had a strong and loving relationship. The first sign that something was off came when Rachel began spending long hours at work, often coming home late and making excuses for her absences. I noticed the little changes. She seemed more distracted, and our intimate moments dwindled. I tried to brush it off, attributing it to stress from work and parenting, but I couldn't shake this gnawing feeling in my gut that something was wrong. Finally, everything came crashing down when I received an anonymous text message that contained screenshots of Rachel's text conversations. My heart dropped as I read the words exchanged between her and a coworker. Flirting, affection, and ultimately, admissions of an affair. I confronted Rachel that evening in a whirlwind of emotions, each accusation leaving us both in tears. It was a mixture of rage, sadness, and disbelief. The world I knew felt like it was shattering before my eyes. Rachel eventually admitted to everything, and while I wish I could say I took it well, I didn't. The betrayal hit me like a freight train, leaving me utterly devastated. But that was just the beginning. As if the affair itself weren't enough to process, she dropped another bombshell. She was pregnant. The realization that my wife had not only betrayed me but had also created another life outside our marriage felt like a knife piercing my heart. When she gave birth to the baby, a boy named Ethan, it threw me into a whirlwind of confusion and anger. I wanted to be supportive of Rachel and the new child, but I struggled to see how I could accept a baby that was the product of her infidelity. The emotions I felt were tumultuous. I was torn between my role as a husband and father and the feelings of betrayal that overshadowed everything. Rachel attempted to convince me that Ethan was innocent and deserved a loving family, but every time I looked at him, I was reminded of her deceit. I tried to put aside my feelings for the sake of Chloe, who was just beginning to understand the world around her. I didn't want her to be affected by the turmoil in our home, but it was increasingly difficult to keep my emotions in check. Weeks passed, and Rachel continued to encourage me to bond with Ethan, insisting that he was part of our family now. "David, you can't blame a child for what happened between us," she would say with tears streaming down her face. I knew she was right. Ethan was not at fault, but my heart ached too much to absorb that logic. I felt like raising him would be akin to giving up on everything I believed in about our family. Our conversations about this situation spiraled into arguments. I told Rachel that I couldn't play a fatherly role to Ethan when the reality was that he was a constant reminder of her betrayal. She would cry, desperately grappling with the situation. "I thought we could figure this out together," she pleaded. But the more I tried to make her understand my point of view, the more distant we both became. It felt like we were two ships passing in the night, each with our own set of wounds. Friends and family caught wind of the situation, and it didn't take long for sides to form. Rachel's family rallied around her, insisting that I should be more compassionate toward her and the baby. Meanwhile, my friends took my side, telling me that I was justified in my feelings and shouldn't force myself into a situation that felt so wrong. Each camp provided their own rationalizations, but I ended up feeling like I was caught in a tug-of-war over my own emotions. The tension built to a point where the conversation shifted toward separation and divorce. Rachel would ask me if I truly wanted to end our marriage, tears in her eyes as she recounted our good times and the life we had built together. But how could I move forward knowing that she had chosen someone else? The rift between us seemed insurmountable, and despite my efforts to keep our family together, I felt the emotional toll weighing heavy on my shoulders. As days turned into weeks, my heart felt more divided than ever. I found myself spending more time with Chloe, trying to create a sense of normalcy for her amidst the chaos. But I also noticed Rachel's struggle to connect with Ethan as she dealt with the fallout from her actions. It began to suffocate me to see her attempt to blend our lives together with this new child, while I felt trapped in my own denial and reluctance to accept Ethan. As Leah, one of my closest friends, suggested during a late-night conversation, maybe I needed to consider Ethan's future. "David, this child deserves parents who will care for him, regardless of how he came into this world," she argued, her voice steady but compassionate. While I could see her point, the conviction in my heart continued to hold firm. It wasn't as if I didn't wish Ethan well. It was the situation itself that made my heart swim in anguish. Most nights, I lay awake, wrestling with my feelings. I would question my morals and what kind of person I wanted to be. Everyone described me as kind-hearted and loving, so how could I possibly deny a child love? Yet, the idea of raising the child who represented my wife's betrayal felt like a violation of my core values. As I sat down to compose this post, I realized that my heart was in chaos, and I needed clarity. Am I the butthole for refusing to raise Rachel's affair baby? Should I be making the effort to move past this? Or am I justified in protecting myself from a constant reminder of betrayal? As I seek your advice, I'm hoping to find some guidance that could lead me toward a resolution. Thank you for taking the time to hear my story.